Okay, thank you for joining Exploring Foods with Smitty. I am doing cornbread dumplings with greens. Again, I was asked to redo this video because they said they didn't, well, they couldn't see the first video very well, and I went back and looked at it and they were right. It was a mess. So what I'm going to start off with this morning, hope you guys had a good Thanksgiving, is I'm going to use smoked turkey necks in my greens. And I always put my meat in first after I wash it. Let's get it washed here. And these are giant turkey necks. I haven't seen turkey necks this big in a long time. So I'm putting my turkey necks in, like so. Okay, and then what I'm going to add to my pot is my already washed greens. I wanted you to see from the beginning. So these are my greens. I've washed them. And these are the pre-bagged greens, but I wash them again anyway, because you just never know. So I'm going to get all of this in here, like so. And I'm pushing them in, and the reason I have my meat on the bottom, as I said, is because I want it to cook, get a good chance to cook in the water, or in the broth. Okay, so what I'm going to add to that is my liquid, which is what's going to cook my greens. Okay, so let's get ready to add our liquid. Okay, so what I'm going to put in is some soup base mix and water. So what I'm going to do is add this soup base to my pitcher here. And you can use chicken stock, which is the same thing as this. It's just a different brand. So what I'm going to do is give my chicken stock or soup base mix, whichever one you want to call it, a stir, because the climate here gets pretty humid, so it has a tendency to take things that are dry and clump them up. And the reason I'm doing it this way, you'll see, I'm kind of changing the recipe a little bit because I made it this way and I really liked it a lot better. So I'm getting this all stirred up. And like I said, you can do chicken stock or whatever, pork stock, whatever stock you want to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour my stock inside of my greens, like so. And you don't even have to use stock. You can just use water. You just need to have liquid in there so that they can cook. Okay, so I'm putting a little bit more water in there. There we go. And what I'm going to do that is I'm going to add some crushed red peppers. And to me, this gives it flavor. I just like the taste that it gives it. You don't have to add it, especially if you have kids. They may not like the spiciness, which is not really spicy if you don't put a lot. So what I'm going to do is put the top on my greens. They're ready to go. And I'm going to put them on the burner, and I'm going to let them cook until they're ready for me to put the cornbread dumplings in. So when we come back, we'll be putting in our cornbread dumplings. Stay tuned. Okay, so my greens are on the back burner cooking really good. And what I'm getting ready to do is to go ahead and start making the cornbread dumplings. Okay, so what I'm going to start off with is a cup of cornmeal. You can use whatever kind of cornmeal you like. I just happen to have yellow, and that's what I'm using. So I'm going to put a cup of cornmeal. Okay, and then what I'm going to add next is a 1/4 cup of flour. It would be the same way you would be making cornbread. Put my flour in. Okay, and as they used to say back in the day, I'm going to use a pinch of salt. Just a little bit. We don't want to put too much. And then what I'm going to do is just blend this all together. Now you can make your cornbread mix any way that you'd like, but this is the way I make it. Now, the one difference that I'm making in this mixture, I'm going to show you. Okay, so let's take a look at our greens first before we continue on. Let's get the top off. And there we go. Nice good greens, nice turkey, and delicious, delicious juice. So, in the first video, what I did is I made my cornbread just like the regular hot water cornbread. But instead of using the hot water, I'm going to be using hot juice from the greens. Okay, so by using the juice from the greens into the cornmeal, it's hot like you would do hot water cornbread. And it's giving the dumplings flavor. So I'm just going to put that in and stir it around. I hope I didn't put in too much. Give it a nice little stir. And you want to make sure that you get it mixed really good, because if you don't, it'll flour off when you put it into your greens. So I'm going to get this mixed really well, making sure that I have all of it in there. And if you come across, if it seems like it's too thick for you and you may need to add more juice, go right ahead. Okay, and this looks pretty good. So what I'm going to do to that is I'm going to add an egg. I'm going to beat the egg up like so. And I'm going to pour it in. And I'm just going to keep mixing it until it's all incorporated. And it's a fairly easy recipe, really. And it's delicious. It's the same way of hot water cornbread, but you're just not frying it. So let's get this all mixed up. So now I'm going to have my cornbread dumplings, and they're going to have the taste of the greens. There we go. Okay. Get this out the way. Okay, so what I'm going to do is bring my greens back over, and I'm going to put them on this burner. Yeah, that's pretty hot. I better use a pot holder. Let's get it going. There we go. I'm going to turn this burner on because it's not on. Let my juice keep boiling. Turn this off. Now at this point, if you feel like you don't have enough juice in there for your cornbread, you can always add some water. Okay, so let's get ready to drop it in. And I'm just going to drop it in like this. There's no rhyme or reason. You just drop it in. These were the biggest ham, the biggest turkey necks, I'll tell you. I haven't seen turkey necks that big in a long time. Let's put some here. Over here. Okay, so what's going to happen is the juice is going to cook your bread. So let's just give it a cover back up, let it cook, and when we come back, it should be ready. Okay, so as you can see, this is our greens with cornmeal dumplings. And as you can see, the greens are just really good and tasty, tender. The meat fell off the bone of the turkey neck. Let's get a taste of the greens by themselves. Absolutely delicious. And that pepper gave it just the right amount of heat. Okay, and then this is our cornbread ball. Just get a little bit of greens with that. Seems like the stuff don't want to come out here for me. Here we go. Absolutely delicious. I mean, the bread is good. With me putting the green juice inside of the mixture, it took on the taste. It has a more taste to it. That is delicious. It's like they were made to go together. And this is a nice southern recipe. Like I said, I never had this until my mother-in-law made them, and I went over to her house, and she had hers in they were round balls, and I thought that they were turnips. And I bit into it and said, "Oh, this is not a turnip. This is bread." So, for the people who wanted this video redone, I was more than happy to do it for you. Hopefully, you'll go ahead and try this recipe and keep the traditions alive. Thank you for joining Exploring Foods with Smitty, and I'll be back with you with another recipe.